What's up guys? Today we are going to go over the DJI RS2 expansion base kit. So we're gonna talk about what's included, what the parts do, and how to use them. And that's basically it. So let's just get into it. What's up guys? My name is James and this is the Engineering Filmmaker, where we talk about photo, video, travel, and tech. If you're interested in any of these topics, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. We also have a forum down in the description, engineeringfilmmaker.com, where you can join, ask questions, answer questions, and just grow as a community. So let's get into the video. So basically this is a kit sold by DJI. It's the expansion base kit. It comes with a bunch of different things that you might not need. It's similar to what the S had, that was the universal mounting plate, but however, you could just buy the universal mounting plate with a cable that came with it, and it was like $190. This one's about $500, and it comes with a lot of stuff, which is cool, but you might not need it all. So it's kind of hit or miss if you need to buy it or not. I'm imagining soon they might come out with just the base kit that you can buy, which would be nice, but for now, this is a pretty cool kit. There's also a company out there called Tilta. They're making like an entire ecosystem for the RS2. So keep an eye on that if you're looking for a better solution than just buying this kit, because they have it all apparently. I don't know much about it, I just know it's out there. So let's get into the kit. All right, so let's name off some of the things it comes with, and I'll take them out as they come. So the first thing is the remote handle. This is actually probably why it costs so much, and this does a lot of things. We'll get into that. Next, we have our expansion port. I'll get to this as well. Then we have our actual base plate adapter, our base plate mounting plate, battery powered adapter. We have a 5-meter cable, another 5-meter cable, a 30-centimeter cable, bunch of Allen wrenches and screws. Lastly, we have a stiffener and a safety buckle. And we'll get into all of this right now. All right, now that we know what comes in it, let's talk about how they connect and what they do. I will be getting to the functionality and everything of that, and if you wanna skip to that, the timestamps will be in the description. All right, so let's start with the remote control handle. I would imagine they will release a version where you can just buy this handle because it would be useful. So let's start with what the functions of this is and then the cool things about it. So firstly, on the back side here, we have a joystick, mode button, and a record button, kind of like the same setup on the actual Ronin S2. And then we have our NATO grips on the side of each one, just like we would on the Ronin S2. And then we also have our spin wheel on the front along with a trigger, just like the Ronin S2. It's basically like the exact same thing as the Ronin S2, except for on each end. The top and the bottom are a little bit different. So the bottom has an actual thread on it that you can thread this into something that you might need to use it for. On the top here is a slot, so you can use this as a dual handle grip if you do have the dual handles. So you could have a grip that has a bunch of settings and functions on it, so you don't need to take your hand off the side grips to be able to change settings and functions. You would have it just on the side here. Now I don't have dual grip because they're not out yet, or I couldn't order it, they were out of stock. So I can't really show you that, but that's what that top part is for. And then you also have a little hot shoe mount, it looks like up on top here, that you could mount whatever you want to it. And then on the front here, on the top and bottom, you have a DC in. This is going to be to power it, and this will connect to the gimbal. Next, let's get into the base plate. This comes with 4 screws in it that you can use to connect this base plate to whatever else you may need to connect it to. I will personally be connecting it to this guy. This is a cloud mount that will be put on a vehicle, and I will get car shots on top of it. So this would just mount right on top here, and I would screw it in and we'd be good to go. You can screw this on whatever else you want. It has quite a few options for holes on the edges and the middle, and there's also a few threaded points on it that you could use for whatever you may need. And then next we have our control cables. These are just used to connect the gimbal to the other accessories, such as the grip and some other things like the base plate. And that's kind of it. They give you 2 5 meters and 1 30 centimeter. The 30 centimeter would be if you're using this as a dual grip, and the longer ones would be if you're using it from a far distance, such as a dolly, a car mount, or whatever else you may want to do. The next thing is the universal base mount. This would connect to the bottom of the Ronin S2, and it has 3 threaded inserts on the bottom, so you could connect it to realistically any cheese plate or base plate you wanted to, but there are slotted inserts as well that make it fit perfectly with the base plate that it comes with. So keep that in mind. you can use this as a universal base plate, but it does fit well on their cheese plate. So next is the battery power adapter. This battery power adapter will go right on top of your original grip for the Ronin S2, and it'll clamp right on there. And this is how you will get power from the grip to the gimbal using the cables. It does have a few threaded inserts on the side, as well as a hot shoe on the top, and another place for mounting right here. And then we have the expansion port. This is how you will connect your actual handle grip to the gimbal. And this will be connected with a cable, and then this connects to the NATO grip on the side of the gimbal. And it also has a few threaded inserts on the front, and that is used for this cable mount. This will go inside of the holes that are here, and then your cable goes through the middle to kind of help make sure the cable does not get tangled or pulled, etc. Last but not least is a stiffener. This will connect to one of the NATO grips on the gimbal, and then the other part will connect by screw to the universal base mount, and this will stiffen the connection between the two so it's not wobbly. Now that we kind of went over what's in the box and what they do, let's talk about how they're used and how to set them up. First, you're gonna take your gimbal and then your universal mounting plate, and you're going to put it inside the gimbal, and then you're gonna clamp it down. Now you have your gimbal. Then you're gonna take your universal mounting plate and you're going to connect it to the mounting plate. Once you have your base plate installed on the gimbal, you can take whatever you plan to mount it to, and you can mount it right up to that. In my case, I'd be mounting it to my cloud mount, but I'm not gonna do that for the sake of this video because there's no need. The next thing you're gonna wanna do is take your expansion port. It's the little thing with the NATO mount and the pins, and you're gonna connect it to the right side of your gimbal, your RS2. And the reason you're gonna do this is because the stiffener mount has to go on the left side. And since we're talking about the stiffener, we're gonna take that and connect it to the NATO mount on the left side and then put it in the hole on the bottom. And this is going to give a secure connection to the universal plate mount and the gimbal so that it doesn't wobble or shake. All right, so now basically the gimbal on the top half is ready to go. You can mount this on your mount and you can get your cables and such set up. So we're going to take our handle grip here and we're gonna connect it to our gimbal. Now, like I mentioned in the past, you can use this as an actual dual grip. And in that case, you would use your short cable to connect it because your dual grip would look something like this. And it'd be another one on that side. But I don't have that option. And then you would just connect it with the cable in the front here. However, in our case, I'm gonna be putting mine in a car. It's the same setup though. So I'm going to connect these two. You can basically control your entire camera from this grip, not wirelessly, but from a distance, because you can use the scroll wheel as your ISO or f-stop. You can hit record, change the mode, and a bunch of other things. So what you're gonna do is take one side of the cable and it's going to go inside the expansion port on the gimbal. And then the other side is going to go either on the top or the bottom, because you can use this grip as a different type of grip. And then basically this is all set up, it's ready to go. But there's no power to the gimbal. So let's get that set up. You're gonna take your other long cable and your battery grip, and you're going to put your mount, your battery mount on top of the battery grip. And that's basically good to go. You're gonna take your cable here, you're gonna plug one side into the gimbal. There's two ports, it doesn't matter which one you put it in. And then the other side into the top of the mount. And now you have power. So essentially you can turn on your gimbal, which I will do right now. Make sure I disable the motors because I don't have a camera, but I will put a camera on it. All right, now that you have everything on, you'll notice that your actual handle itself is not working. And this is where I got confused. There's a sleep button on the side. I didn't think that was actually a power button because it just says sleep. So I figured that would just put it to sleep. This sleep button acts the same as your power button on the gimbal, except for it only turns on and off power to the handle. But you can still double press it to pause the motors. You press and hold and your lights will flash, and then you're good to go. Now that this is on, you can use your scroll to do focus, your f-stop, your ISO. You can use the trigger to make it go straight again. And then you can use your mode to change modes, record to record, and then you can use the joystick right here. You can use the joystick to go left and right with your camera. And that's basically it. So from a 5-meter distance, you could be using this joystick. So no more need to buy a Xbox controller, no more need to use your phone. You literally have a tethered control right here, and it's pretty cool. And I really like the fact that you can still use the scroll wheel to do other things, and you can still press record to record on your camera. And that's pretty much it. Now, I wanted to go over just like 2 more things that are kind of bonuses with the grip itself that you might not know you could use it for. So I'm gonna show you those real quick. So as I mentioned, there is a possibility that you could buy a few of these and use 2 as a dual grip, or just use one on one side to control your camera and a regular one on the other side to just hold extra weight. So the cool thing you can do with this is on the bottom, it's not actually a hole you screw into, it's a actual threaded screw that you would use to screw this into something else. And for example, you could use this as your briefcase handle if you wanted to with the attachment that it comes with. However, it doesn't seem to fit very well with the attachment that it comes with, but in the instruction manual for this kit, it does show an additional piece that this grip connects to that uses the same briefcase handle type look to it. So potentially with whatever they release for the dual grip, I would imagine you can use this handle for a briefcase mode or a dual grip mode, and you would have control over your camera. So keep that in mind. This is a pretty universal grip that you could use for quite a lot of things. That's kind of it. I am curious though, is this a kit that you would buy and what would you use it for? Out of curiosity. But that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about the expansion kit or the Ronin S2, let me know in the comment section down below. I try to respond to every comment. But that's it for today, and I'll see you on the next one.